Hey everyone, this is Daniel,
And I'm Jun,
and we are
Korean.
American.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Did we not have the mic check, by the way? Is it
I mean,
okay?
we didn't change it since last time. We haven't had guests.
We never know if the mics shift. The
Oh,
mics
that.
changed.
Yeah, they look good.
Probably
Input's
okay.
looking now. Mhm.
Okay. Anyways, good morning.
Good morning.
You're wearing a very American shirt. This was my small
Oh, really?
topic.
Salmon colored polo from Ted Baker. It's a British shirt.
Faded pink, I would say.
Faded.
It's
love
like it's
this
a
shirt.
color. I mean, it looks good on you.
Oh, thank you.
But it's like a color that Koreans wouldn't normally wear. I think, especially Korean men.
Oh. Is it too pink? Like, is that effeminate?
I don't know why, but I witnessed that Americans wear pink more often than like American men.
June, this is salmon.
Faded pink.
I'll wear my actual pink shirts next
Wait,
time.
what? I've never seen salmon color like that though. Have you ever seen salmon color like that?
That's why I like it. It's kind
Is
of
it like salmon mayo?
Oh no, this is like pretty salmon meat flesh color.
Should
no?
it be? Should it be a lot more darker?
Darker orange?
Yeah.
Okay. It's somewhere in between.
It's cool.
But I have actual pink shirts. That's why I'm taking issue with this.
Oh,
And pink shorts. But
shouldn't
this
be
is
an
not pink.
issue. Shouldn't be an issue.
Okay,
But it's
okay,
just
okay.
like a color preference, I guess.
Mm.
Koreans like the way that they wear their colors are more subdued,
Yeah.
monotone,
Black,
grayscale.
black, white, gray. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wearing some color.
Oh yeah, but it's a white shirt.
RGB.
It's very designery. Your shirt.
Is it? Thank you.
Is it a designer shirt actually?
Oh, like a designer brand shirt?
No. Not that. Like a UI designer.
Oh, no. I don't know.
It has lots of like angles and intersection points.
I thought it
like
was
math.
more architecture,
Oh, yeah. I could see that.
geometry. Anyways, how's your weekend?
It was fine. Oh, actually, there were protests in Seoul, or at least we were warned to not go into Seoul.
Oh,
So we really pretty much didn't leave the house for all of Saturday, except I think our son went to a badminton class. And then for Sunday, we didn't go to church like usual because of the protests.
for that reason?
Yeah, we just play it safe.
Yeah.
And so we went to the Bundang Jungang Park.
Oh,
There's like
yeah.
a central park in Bundang.
It literally means central.
Yeah,
Park,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's laid out in a way that it resembles Central Park. Because Bundang is a very planned out city.
Ah, you're right now that I think about
Yeah.
it.
And the proportions and everything, right?
It's like a mini Central
long
Park.
strip of
Yeah,
rectangle.
yeah. There's a lake at one end, and
Yeah.
then that's so funny. But it was, the air quality was very good yesterday.
Was it?
So it was packed. Yeah, it was so many people.
Oh, and did you see the cherry blossoms?
Just starting to bud, but
Yeah.
it wasn't beautiful yet, I'd
Oh,
say.
yesterday I was passing by in the evening,
Mm-hmm.
but like in the karosu, like the side. What's karosu? Like the sidewalk trees.
Oh, yeah.
What are they
maybe.
called? What are they called?
Yeah,
Anyways,
sidewalk trees.
yeah. I'm pretty sure that's not the word. But the cherry blossoms were almost at its peak.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No, are they?
Or
feel
like
like
this
we're-
week, it's gonna be at its peak.
I think this coming weekend will be peak. Yeah.
Did I tell you cherry blossoms give me sad vibes?
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah, because it's so
so fleeting.
yeah, ephemeral.
What was I gonna say? Oh, but after by that park, we went to eat at Sune. Oh, dude, Sune has some matchips, I feel like.
It does.
It does, yeah.
Where'd you go?
Just some miyeokguk place.
Oh.
Do you know which one?
I don't know, but miyeokguk place always because you don't usually serve miyeokguk at a restaurant,
Yeah.
right?
So it
but
has
if
to
you
be
know
good.
if it's a miyeokguk place,
yeah,
it has to
yeah.
be good, right?
It was a miyeokguk and general seafood place. I think they had a lot of like seafood specials, like gejang,
Nice.
jumbo, things like that.
Nice. I went to Bundang Matjip too yesterday.
Oh, where?
Do you know what a nakji is?
Yeah, squid.
It's more of an octopus, I think.
Oh, is it?
Like a smaller size.
I thought
size.
muno was octopus.
Muna is octopus, but those are like the big
Oh,
ones.
ojingo is squid.
Ojingo is squid. But
And
then you know like
nakji.
those the thing that the guy eats in Old Boy.
Yeah, sannakji.
That's nakji.
Sengnakji.
Sannakji just means it's live nakji.
Yeah, the moving one.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, okay.
So it's a nakji place?
Yeah. Wait, sorry. I feel like we need to look this up. Is
Mm-hmm.
nakji actually octopus?
I don't know if
Like
it's
genus, species, octopus.
It looks pretty much the same.
It looks like
just
a mini one, though.
Yeah, it's like scaled down.
Oh, that would
Do
be
you know
sad.
do you know what a chukumi is? The
No.
chukumi is also a octopus, but like a really tiny one.
Yeah,
They
those are
call it-
cute, right?
They call it chukumi.
But that's different from nakji too.
I mean, we call it different. I don't know, like
Ah.
species wise.
Yeah.
I mean, seems like species wise they're going to be different. Are you ChatGPT-ing?
Yes.
There
Oh
should-
no. Oh no, June. Nakji is the Korean word for a small type of octopus, specifically octopus minor. It is an octopus.
Oh, what's an octopus minor? Like
Just
a
a
small.
specific species of octopus.
Oh, I see.
But
I mean-
that makes me sad. I think in my mind, octopuses are the highly intelligent species. And like squids are kind of like the
The
not
dumb
less
ones.
intelligent. So I never felt any guilt eating squid. But and nakji I bundled into the squid group.
Oh. Wait, you feel guilt for certain species because they're intelligent?
Of course, yeah.
Oh, do you know that pigs are highly
I
intelligent
do.
too?
I do. I feel less guilt because there was not a Netflix documentary about how smart pigs
Oh.
are.
I saw that documentary, My Octopus Teacher.
or something. Yeah.
Do you know that crows are also highly intelligent too?
I did.
I saw.
But I don't eat crow.
I don't know why, but all of a sudden, like I see a lot of crows around this area,
Oh, I mean,
and I see them bullying the gachis.
oh, they do?
Yeah.
That's sad.
They're bigger.
That's
But
really sad.
but I do know that they're highly intelligent.
Mm.
I once saw like a YouTube video where they like when it's snowing
Mm-hmm.
on the roof, they have like their own they bring their own sticks
Uh-huh.
to like snowboard down the roof and then go back and forth.
So they literally have fun.
They
when it
understand
snows.
entertainment. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I went to a nakji place which was I'm not a huge nakji lover,
Yeah.
but every time I see posts about like, oh, I lived in Bundang for 20 years and this is my list of matchips in Bundang,
Oh.
like this place was always there.
Okay.
And it's pretty close by.
All right. You have to send it to me.
Yeah. Are you okay with spicy food though?
Yeah.
Nakji is pretty spicy.
Again, nakji bokkeu's known to they make it spicy.
Yeah.
There's nothing inherently spicy about nakji.
Yeah, I'll send it over to you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Nice. June, the haircut's back on the menu. I got my haircut last week.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
But it's too short to do a pama. Do you
did
know
like
do you
a
know the
split.
Korean name for this hairstyle?
no.
Not the styling, the haircut.
Korean haircut styles are one of the most ridiculous name thing that doesn't like whatever blah 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 per.
Yeah, I
like,
wanted to bring it up.
You don't even know if it's French or
Yeah.
Italian or they just make it up.
Dandy, aju,
Yeah.
sisuru. Yeah. This one's called
It goes hand in hand with like the apartment names almost. I mean, I don't even know what's more ridiculous.
Okay, so I didn't know that was a thing. But this one's called the drop cut.
Drop.
Drop cut.
What's dropping?
I don't know.
Your jaws?
I think the lady's jaws, dude. No, I think it's like maybe it's like slightly forward and it hangs a little bit.
Ah.
But basically, I was saying, like, is there any hairstyle for guys whose hair is like a little shorter, like too short for a perm? But like, he's like, no, pretty much they all just do this type of cut. Drop cut sounds so much better than like, oh, can you just cut it a little off the top? I mean, that's what, in the US I'd say like, oh, give me, sides and back, like
Yeah.
a slight fade,
Yeah.
maybe down to like a 1 or 2 card.
Did
And
you know?
then,
Yeah.
just cut the top, make it even, yeah.
That's what I do. I think it's because maybe like the communication issue, you couldn't like descriptively say what you want.
I
And so
just
you
said-
just have to
oh.
like, you have to choose something for the menu. That's why.
Oh, no, June, this came later. So I did pretty, not well, but get to the place where he knew what I wanted, which is like, I basically said, kalkome. And then he said, how long do you want the top? I said, I'm growing it out so I can perm later.
Oh,
So he
okay,
just
okay.
made it
Oh,
look
it was very
good.
specific then.
But then at the end, I was like, so what do you call this? And how would I like neighbor search how to style it, whatever? Not that I do, but I was curious. He said, oh, drop cut. And I was like, drop? He was like, drop.
Yeah.
And I had to type in drop. He was, oh, drop.
Oh, but they come up with new names like almost every
I
year.
know, yeah,
So
yeah.
like, whatever drop cut's not gonna be irrelevant next year. Isn't it so ridiculous?
funny.
And the thing about the beef that I have with Korean hair salons is that, because everything's so based on trends.
Yes.
So even if you like some haircut, the next time if you go like the next year, they wouldn't even know what that means.
Oh, because it's out of trend.
Yeah, and you just have to choose from like 5 different. I mean, did you see like that taxonomy of hairstyles that North Korean people can only do?
No, I
If you
haven't.
go to a North Korean hair salon,
Yeah.
they have like number 1, number 2, number 3, or like 5 for women.
You have to just pick
and
one of
5
them.
for men. You have to pick one from one of them.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't think it's that much different in
Yeah.
Korea. So you have to just choose
Pick one
from
of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your hairstyle called?
My
Does it have a
hairstyle is called
Kudu?
No, my hairstyle is called It's Been 3 Weeks, sir.
Just keep it the same.
Yeah.
3 weeks. That is frequent. I heard Korean men do get their haircuts about 3 to 4 weeks every 3-4 weeks.
I think I'm more on the frequent
Frequent
side.
side.
Yeah.
Okay. I try to push it to like 6 to 8. Jun, how should we transition? You have a beautiful apartment. No, really.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, everyone who comes here is just like jaw dropped. Like
Yeah.
you live here. You have plants.
Yes.
Everything's nicely furnished, clean. It's
Yeah.
it's an amazing apartment.
Thank you. So, I live in a rather larger house to live alone.
Yeah.
One of the most frequent questions that I get when I invite people to my house is, "Do you live here alone?" And I say yes, and like, "Oh, why do you live in such a large place?" Right?
It's quite big. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why. Because you can't go smaller. I think over the years.
Yeah.
That's very difficult.
Interesting.
Yeah, because you tend to buy stuff.
Yeah.
And it's so much of a hassle to like
Sell it.
sell it and then move into a smaller apartment. Yeah. So
That's
I
true.
think gradually as the time goes.
You accumulate
Yeah.
nice furniture.
Yeah. How's that transition?
This was your place was actually a 3-bed before,
Oh yes,
but
yes.
converted into a 1-bed with a
Yeah.
massive like living room
Yeah,
area.
yeah. That's the thing about, because I live alone, the thing
Yeah.
about, I think I'm a bit more particular about the living space layouts. Not only because I do have like some architecture background, so I do value more about like the uniqueness of the space, but also maybe it's because my influence of like living in the States for a little bit and like that loft type apartment.
You've always liked lofts.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Although I never lived in one.
Interesting.
Theoretically, like that loft space,
Yeah.
I always really wanted to live in that. But it's so difficult to find one of those because
Yeah.
as the unit itself gets larger and larger,
Yeah.
it just like in Korean apartment layouts, they just add more rooms, right?
Yeah.
So you never get like this lofty space.
Yeah.
This one was unique in that I don't know why, but yeah, they tore down the walls for two rooms and then made into like this very lofty like living room space, which I like.
But the loft must be standard, right? No? Or do you think all the units on this floor have the loft area?
Oh, you mean this like double height space?
This loft, yeah.
Oh, when I say loft, I mean like this like large area, like large area. I mean loft. I think do indicate
this
like
is a loft, yeah. The stairs up to like just a half level with there's no doors, there's no bedroom. But that's the
Interesting.
lofted space. Yeah.
interesting. When you see like loft, what they call loft apartments in like New York, it's not necessarily double heighted.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's usually have like a wait, like a tall. I forgot all the architecture terms. Anyway, the ceiling height. The ceiling height is usually higher, but then it doesn't necessarily indicate that it's double. Those are called duplexes, I think.
Oh, is it? No. Maybe you're right. I mean, I trust you, honestly. But in my mind, the loft is this. It's like the second floor space.
Oh,
You're right. Yeah. Key features of a loft apartment.
Yeah.
Open floor plan, high ceilings, large windows.
Yeah. So I think those types of apartments stemmed out from like back in the days when places in like Soho were usually factories, and they like
They already had the
transitioned-
large
yeah,
ceilings.
transitioned into like apartment spaces.
That's so interesting.
Anyways, like so that kind of loft layout is really hard to find in Korea. So when I found this place, I was like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're never moving out.
I hope I don't have to. Anyways, wait,
No, I'm learning right now.
what are these called? duplexes. I know what they're called in Korean.
Ah, okay, good. So outside of New York and in newer cities or suburbs, loft equals design style or marketing term. It can refer to any open concept apartment, like you were saying, or a unit with a mezzanine or raised sleeping area.
Oh, so we were both right.
Well, I've never lived in New York.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I never thought of it that way. Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, the lofted area for bed, that's how I think of loft. Oh, nice.
For now that you mentioned mezzanine,
Yeah.
just for the Korean audience, when you go to like fancy buildings and if you see like a M button
Yeah.
on the elevator,
Yeah.
that means mezzanine.
Oh, they wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like somewhere in between first story and second story.
Yes. Or any kind of in between floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's Italian.
That I would guess too for like opera seating, right? Opera house seating.
Yeah.
Yes. But
Sorry.
Jun, if you remember our previous episode, or for our listeners, our previous episode on Jung Part 2, we were thinking of different kind of relationships you might have
Yes.
where you can define clear boundaries, right? And the goal is not for that relationship to get to the point of a Jung-based relationship where you're one, but it's just a very well-defined relationship. And I thought roommates in the US was like such a good one, right? And you were like, but Koreans don't really have roommates after college. And so I was like, what? And then you were like, what?
Yeah.
Because I think, at least in my experience, it's very, very common for you to have roommates when you're single. So yeah, I was like, I didn't know that was such a big difference. And I thought it would be fun to talk about it. So yeah, let's talk about roommates today.
Yes. How should we start?
Well, Jun, I pulled up some stats. I almost never do any research, but I was curious. According to this survey, in the US in particular, the dense urban environments, let's say New York, San Francisco, major cities, about 30% of adults aged 18 to 34 live with roommates. 30%.
But isn't that too much of a wide range? 18 to 34.
Oh, that age range?
Yeah. Like, I want to know the stats of like after college. That would be more interesting.
Let me look that up.
Yeah. Because 18, aren't there like different life stages within 18 to 34? Because like it's like college and then like work.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, you want 22 to 34.
The specific reason that I'm asking for this is because I think in Korea at least it's going to be very different, but depending on whether you're in college and post college.
Okay. Here are some stats, Jun. According to this, again, one article, it says still about 40% of people 25 to 29 live with roommates.
40%.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much.
It's even higher.
Oh, it's even higher because I was thinking the opposite. Interesting.
Because again, maybe as you get past 30, you tend to not have them as much, which funny enough, I think matches my experience too. But you're right. When you're in college, you probably are even likelier to have roommates. And then the other interesting stat here is in 2021, 17% of adults aged 25 to 34, so definitely that post-college life, lived at home with their parents. So
they live with their parents?
17%.
Oh, that's a lot more than I thought.
Yeah, but it's 1 in 7, roughly. Sorry, 1 in 6. Yeah.
I bet they're all Asian.
Asians are such a small percent of America, Jun.
Okay.
We're a rounding error. But anyway. Yeah, so the equivalent statistic I found for Koreans, it was about 5% of people in that 18 to 34 age range live alone in Korea without family.
I see.
So I think I wanted to talk about this first and just maybe historically some of the differences and in your experience, like when you live at home, what's kind of the deal with moving out. I can think of a lot of factors that play into this, but I wanted to talk about that first. Yeah.
I don't know about historically. Interesting. Let's start with when people usually start to live alone in Korea.
Yeah.
Is exactly when they go to college.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah. And a lot of people choose to not live alone even after college. But that's depending on, this also relates to like the soul-centric thing where most of the good colleges are in Seoul.
Yeah.
So if you tend to live outside of Seoul and then you move to college, it means that you have to move out from whatever, you have to move to a different city, and therefore you're almost forced to live alone.
Yeah.
And that's usually, I think, how people in Korea starts living alone, including myself. But so in college, I think there are certain options that you can take. One would be to live in a dorm, and the other would be to live alone. There was a third type of living, which was called hasuk.
Okay.
I think it doesn't really exist anymore. Even if it does, it's like very small, which is like almost like a B&B type business where like these households, they just rent out a room for students.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah. And I think you saw that in maybe Reply 1988 or something. That was like a very common type of living for college students back in the days.
Yeah.
Hasuk. I think it's just it's kind of like a side hustle, maybe even
Yeah.
for just households
Who had extra room or something.
who had extra room. They would like, and their houses are like conveniently located near like the college area.
Yeah.
They would do like hasuks, and they would just provide. The big thing about hasuk is that they provide meals.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, so
Nice.
like breakfast,
you
dinner.
you eat with your host family.
Yeah. And usually there could be more than just you as a hasuk-seng,
Yeah.
like the tenant. Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. I wonder, because in America, I know there was a common thing of like family coming to live with family in America just to attend school there. And for me, it always felt a little bit like I understood why, like maybe a wave to get your kids into the US. But it seems very similar to this kind of accommodation, right? Of course, hasuks are not with family, right? But the willingness to find, or a lot of times find a host family, whether it's family or not, in the US to host your kid while they go study somewhere. Yeah, that always felt very common and something I heard a lot from maybe Korean families. But yeah, never would have thought of that on my own, right?
That's more of like a homestay situation, right? Which
Yeah,
is like
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
similar with
Oh, is it not exactly equivalent to a hasuk?
I guess it is. I guess it is.
That's what I was getting at. It's
hasuk
just
is
the
homestay.
equivalent. Instead of sending them to Seoul,
Yeah.
you're sending them to America.
Yeah. In my mind, the difference between hasuk and homestay, although I think it's pretty much pretty much similar, is that most of the time, if you do homestay, wouldn't you do it at a place where you already with a family that you already kind of know? No.
See, I don't know. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
maybe that's not.
I think ideally you do send them with family, but otherwise it's just like you try to find someone to to house your kid, right?
I
So they
see.
can study in the U.S.
Yeah. So hasuk is homestay, I guess then.
I don't know.
Yeah, but it's more. Yeah, but it's specifically for college students. Yeah.
So this is basically like Airbnb back in the days. But why was it only for college students? So why wouldn't people continue to do this past that age? Like I'm imagining I'm a college student. I got, I live in Daegu. I wanted to go to college in Seoul, found a house to host me, and then I graduated and I wanted to continue working. Like why wouldn't I just continue that arrangement there?
I mean, I'm pretty sure some people did that, but in my mind, I think Korean people tend to think that this is not like an optimal style of living. It's only for like really saving costs.
I see.
So once you start making money, you would want to live by your own
place. Interesting.
because it's like it's less freedom, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something that I want to get into as well.
Yeah.
In the roommate thing. And also I think one of the reasons why, and I briefly mentioned, Americans tend to live more with roommates is because Koreans have the option to live with their parents, not only culture-wise, but geography-wise.
Yeah.
Because most of the people are living in Seoul, so there's high percentage where you're born and grew up and go to college and become an adult in the same city.
Yeah.
And therefore there is an option, and it's culturally more accepted to just live with your parents.
See, this is where I wanted to bring up earlier when you said the first time a lot of Koreans might live alone is when they go to college. But if I'm living in Seoul already, going to college in Seoul, most likely I'm going to choose to stay at home, right? To save money.
Yes.
Even if it's cross city, an hour bus ride, you'll still choose to do that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think the tendencies have changed because it's become more and more Seoul centric.
Yeah.
The majority of the population starts living in Seoul. It wasn't as extreme as it is right now, even when I was in college.
Yeah.
it was more evened out. So there are a lot of people coming to Seoul to go to college from different cities.
Yeah.
Whereas now, because like they never move out of Seoul.
Yeah.
Like this generation went to college, came to Seoul to go to college, and then got a job here, and then make a family here and live here. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, exact same in the US, where I would say going off to college is your first time living outside of your house. You live in a dorms typically, and the college helps provide that. Or if you eventually want to find your own roommates, you can do that too. But again, as we know, the biggest difference between the US is humongous, right? And a lot of times you go to a different state, you can't live at home. It's just infeasible.
Yeah.
And even if you go in state, June, the states are so big. Yeah, I think that's a big reason why. And then you were saying something too around like the social, I guess, acceptance of it. I think a lot of Americans see living in your college dorm as like a life experience and life milestone too. It's just something that is constantly referenced throughout, movies and media, and just portrayed to be like, it's your first time living alone, right? Like you're an adult now. You got to learn to do your own laundry, cook your own food. Maybe not even that, but basically manage your own time. Just basically be an adult, an independent adult. And so I think that's where like dorm life is obviously kind of held up to this like, oh, it's like you just got to do it in your life to experience, it's almost like a life milestone and experience.
Really?
Like you wouldn't pass up even if you had the option to, right? Like even if your house was right next to college, you'd probably still want to live in the dorm for the experience, for the socialization. So,
have you ever lived in the dorm?
yes, not like your very traditional dorm. So that's a fun story. But yeah, my freshman year, I actually got an off-campus apartment through the college, but they matched me to that. I think I was late in applying for the dorm thing, so I just didn't get in. But two of my best friends who I grew up in high school with, we all went to college together. They had a dorm in like the most classic, all guys basement floor of their dorm. And so I hung out at their house and even crashed there many nights. Yeah, so I probably spent the majority of my freshman year with them.
I see.
So I got roughly the dorm experience through them, of which I'm very grateful. Yeah, actually I'm still friends with a lot of people from that floor from freshman year.
I stayed in my on-campus dorm for 3 years in my college years.
Yeah.
And then only the last year
Moved out.
I moved out in like a nearby what you would call in Korea one room, like a studio apartment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What prompted that your last year to move out?
I think this is a very important point. It's like I feel like there's a sentiment of like, number one, like you have to people tend to want more freedom in their lives as they grow up.
Sure. Yeah.
And number two, I think there's that age thing. Like, oh, you're at this age, maybe you should move out of the dorm, kind of. I mean, there are definitely people who just stay at the dorms.
Yeah.
But like, as you described, like as a milestone, once in your life you have to live in a dorm. It's kind of the similar for, I think, Koreans, where at least once in your life you have to live alone, kind of.
Interesting. So it's seen as this like, that's true in the US too. Yeah, but I think in college it's people almost like having roommates. It's like when you're a freshman, you don't know anyone. Of course, you want to help. Live in a dorm. The school's going to help match you. You're going to live with all other like college freshmen together. That makes a lot of sense. Typically, I remember the people who moved out or stopped doing dorms were people who had more money. Yeah, pretty much. Or you found, you had to find the people that you were really, really close with.
Yeah.
And then collectively decide, like both of you are like, oh, we can afford to, or we want to move off campus. Yeah, definitely they were seen as like the cooler, richer people, I'd say overall.
Interesting.
But yeah, should we talk about dorm culture? I think it is.
Yeah, it's related.
Yeah.
I think the difference between dorm culture in the States and Korea is that I think in the States they put a lot of emphasis on the freshman experience, whereas in Korea that doesn't exist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're just randomly matched with anyone
not just other freshmen?
No.
Oh.
At least
That's
for
very
my school,
different, right?
At least for my school, and I don't think this is very different. Yeah.
Especially with age-based hierarchy, doesn't that play a huge role here? Like, how awesome would it be if the entire dorm was just freshmen, right? Everyone's the same age.
Yeah.
You're all new, coming from all parts of Korea together.
Yeah.
Right? I'm interested why they don't do that. Maybe they don't want the socialization. You're here to study.
They do give priority
Yeah.
to get enrolled to the dorm for the freshmen, but they don't like only have
Batch
freshmen
them
in one
together.
building. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So in my first roommate he was a sophomore.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know him. Yeah.
To me, that's so awkward.
Yeah.
You're sharing a room, but you don't interact, you don't hang out.
I guess depends on the dynamic.
Of course, yeah.
I think that guy and me as well, like we are the type of people who just want to keep it to themselves.
I see.
Like he didn't really talk that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was mutually
I think we tried.
beneficial.
I think we tried, and then it like slowly just like didn't. We weren't at like bad terms or anything.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
yeah, as time went by, we just didn't really interact with each other. Yeah.
Did your parents drive you and drop you off and help you move into your dorm? That's like a huge thing for the freshman college experience.
I think they might have. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't remember?
I don't remember.
What?
I think they might have.
I remember very clearly. Yeah, the whole family came along. My
Ah.
grandma, yeah, even though she was very old, they all moved and came with me and helped me move into my apartment. Not my apartment, my dorm room.
What's a typical dorm room layout?
It's really a one bed. It's just like a one bedroom room with two beds, and it's split down the middle. And then on each floor, there's like a shared bathroom area where
Wait.
you go brush teeth and things like that.
One bedroom,
Yeah, it's just one bedroom.
meaning it's not studio.
There's no kitchen. There's nothing. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there's like maybe each floor again would have the bathroom area, a kitchen that you could use. This is why some people bring in like microwaves or
Yeah.
like illegally the Koreans all had one of those stovetop things. They're illegal because they're a huge fire hazard. But they would like be cooking their like food that their parents froze and packed for them and stuff
I
like
see.
that. And it stunk up the whole room. But
The room that I stayed was, imagine like a prison cell.
yeah,
So it has like two single beds
yeah,
on the side.
yeah,
So that the gap between the beds are about like this much.
yeah.
And then two desks.
Wait, identical. Wait, how is that different from what I described?
Because you didn't say studio, you said one bedroom, so I thought there was one more bedroom.
Oh, one more room that wasn't a bedroom.
Yeah.
No, it's just one room. It's a box. It's like a prison cell.
Oh, okay.
It's the same.
Okay, cool. And you didn't have a bathroom inside.
No bathroom.
Okay,
Yeah,
communal bathroom. I think it's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same, I think. And then I guess, what's the I don't know. What's the like dorm culture? Is there like a dorm culture that's distinct?
Depends on the school, but I don't think there's a very rich dorm culture anywhere in
Yeah.
Korea. One of the biggest dorm culture in Korea is there's a curfew.
Oh.
Yeah. Some schools are very strict with the curfew.
Yeah.
Some schools are not.
Crazy.
I was lucky enough to go to a school where they didn't have a curfew. We basically had maximum freedom.
Freedom. Oh,
But I know that this was an anomaly.
Yeah.
And most schools have curfews.
interesting.
Yeah.
So you have like a badge or key that you use to get into the dorm?
Me?
In general, how do students get in? And what's security like? Because with curfew, how do they even enforce it is what I'm thinking of.
For curfews, they have this thing called jeonse, where like the supervisor come into the room
yeah.
and then like they count the people. Yeah, like a prison cell.
Wait, literally they like, it's curfew time. They do a roll call. And is everyone standing outside their room?
I don't know. My school didn't have that, but I
see.
know that there is a system called a jeonse.
Okay.
Which is, I mean, okay, prison is too harsh. Maybe it's something that they do in the military.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a word for that.
Roll call.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they do. Do you have to shout out from your room like here?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't stand outside, but you have to at least
I actually don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, but I would imagine. Yeah. My school was, I don't know why. They had like, this was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And they had this fancy tech where you can register the formation of your veins
What?
on your hand.
Formation of your veins?
Yeah, and then
not
you
even
just-
fingerprints.
Yeah, you just scan your veins.
You can hardly see. What?
Yeah. I don't, isn't it so awesome?
So that's security to get into the dorm building.
Yeah.
I see.
But it was so annoying because like when it's cold
Yeah.
or you you had a lot to drink.
Yeah, it might not look right.
Yeah, it doesn't look right.
So it
you
wouldn't
have to,
work.
like, stay in front of the building for a very long time.
And then once you had a key, I guess, for your individual room then.
No.
Oh,
You can just open
anyone
it.
could open the door?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know if you technically had a key.
Yeah, but no one used it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Most of the time, they just like left it open almost. Yeah.
Are Korean dorms mixed gender?
No. Or maybe nowadays
Sure,
it could
they
be,
could be,
but
yeah.
when I was going to Storm, they had like dedicated different buildings.
I guess the idea of a mixed gender dorm would be like it would not be acceptable back then.
It wouldn't.
I see.
Yeah. But because my dorm was pretty autonomously run,
Yeah.
a lot of people just brought in their girlfriends, like illegally.
Even though it's technically illegal.
Yeah.
So that person who's enforcing things, are they? They're like a school employee. Are they a grown up or are they also a kid?
They're also a student.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. That's the same as the U.S. too. Then.
Yeah. It's just like their stipend job.
Yes. Yeah. They do work for the school, but they're also a student. Usually an upperclassman, right?
Yeah.
I see. Yeah. Okay. I mean, honestly, it sounds pretty similar. I think.
We didn't have AC.
Oh, none of the units had air
That was
conditioning?
such a huge thing.
It was the luxury dorm if it did get AC, or did people like bring in stuff, portable AC units, fans?
Oh, this is another interesting thing. What I found so interesting about American dorms,
Yeah,
maybe this is different from undergrad and grad school.
sure.
This was such a eye-opening moment for me about like capitalism. Is that you can pay more to go into a better room.
Oh yeah, of course.
In Korea, it doesn't exist. They all stay in the same type of dorm room.
Are all dorm rooms identical? There have to be bigger, nicer ones, right?
No.
Oh, they're literally all the same.
They're all the same.
Oh, therefore that makes sense.
Yeah.
But in the U.S., there's so much variance or
I know,
variability
right? You can
between the
like
dorm
pay
rooms.
like 3 times more
Yeah,
to stay in
get
that very
a
luxury.
bigger one with AC. Yeah.
Whoa, that was so that was so American to me.
Really?
Yeah, you can get away with anything with money, kind of.
No, I think Jun, the American part to me is that there's variability. Yeah. I think the Korean thing to me is like, oh, everything has to be the same.
Yeah.
Fair and equal.
Fairness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in America, like it's not unfair to be able to pay more for nice. It's unfair if you pay the same and get a nicer one, right?
The reason why I think it's very American, and again, I brought up the word capitalism, is that it's not based on merit or like your grades or anything. It's based on money.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, everything's based on money.
Yeah.
Which is kind of
Oh,
interesting.
that would be a great world where like based on your grades, you get first priority into the nicer dorm rooms.
I mean, that's more aligned to how Koreans think, I think.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
Meritocracy.
Yeah.
No,
Anyways.
that's not at all.
Anyways, we didn't have AC. It was up to the point, you know how harsh it can get in
Yeah,
Korean
yeah.
summers? It was up to the point where it was like borderline human rights issue. So there was like one communal room per floor
The had AC.
where they had like a TV and AC.
Yeah, common area.
In summer, if you go there, like no one sleeps at their room, and they just go to the communal area, and everyone's like naked like lying down on the
Trying to be
sofa,
cool.
lying down on the couch there.
Yeah.
That was like pretty harsh. But nowadays, I heard that even in my school, they all have like dedicated ACs for each room, and then like bathrooms and everything.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jun, I'm curious, how much do students, let's say, go off campus? Because, in the U.S., have you heard of College Town? You've heard of College Town, right? It's like the school is the center. A lot of people come live there. It's the focal point of the area. And everything in that area caters to the college, right?
Yeah.
But I think of most colleges in Seoul to be more like, let's say, Columbia, where it's like really integrated into the city.
Yeah.
And there's not really that distinct like on-campus, off-campus feeling. And so I don't know, is that, in your experience, are Korean college campuses more like the college town, where it's like you don't really have to leave your campus, but if you do, you go off campus and the surrounding area is really catering to college students, versus like a Columbia again, which is like it's just very deeply integrated into the city itself, and it doesn't really feel like this big on-campus, off-campus divide.
I still think even in Seoul, I mean, this might be different from outside of Seoul, but even in Seoul, if there's like a large enough campus, the area itself sort of works as a college town. I think Columbia is different in that nothing can beat Manhattan's power, right?
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
even if there's like a large campus, it doesn't override the power of Manhattan almost. But for Seoul, if it's like a large enough campus, and the reason why I'm saying it's large enough is because it has to have like that influence of like many people,
Yeah.
and so that the entire area should cater around the campus. Because there are also schools that are very small, and I think, and in that case, I think it has less influence to the urban fabric.
I see.
Yeah,
I guess whenever I visit these college areas in Korea, right, like the Jeonse area, the
Sinchon.
Hongdae area,
Yeah, yeah.
right, they feel like college vibey, right?
it is. Yeah,
And it's like I get that it is a college area, but for me the lines between on campus, off campus is completely blurred. Like that entire area is like a college area.
Yeah.
Younger, I get it. But I don't know, it feels so integrated into the city to me.
I
Right?
see.
Versus where I think a lot of people go to college in the US, it's like a massive campus area. And even getting off campus is hard. You know, you either have to navigate the horrible bus system
Yes.
or have a car, know someone who has a car, right? And so, honestly, my freshman year at college, I didn't leave my college campus, I think, more than like 2 or 3 times the whole year. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that feeling is a very different, I think.
I think it's quite of a Seoul specific thing.
Yeah.
But the thing about Korea is that once the school is outside of Seoul, it tends to be less popular. And so there's like that.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, let's see. June, what was your first experience then? Like, what do you remember from college, specifically with respect to like living either with roommates or living alone your senior year?
So my like first year, it's pretty much blurred because it wasn't, again, like my relationship with my roommate was like pretty much non-existent. So I don't have a lot of memories for my first year.
Yeah.
But then from second year, you can apply to a room with
Yes.
someone else.
Yeah.
And that like changes the whole dynamic because now you know people from campus, so you can like pair up and like go get into a same room, which I started doing from my second year. That was a lot more fun because we have mutual friends now. They come over and then we hang out. I don't know, fun dorm stories. There was one summer,
Yeah.
me and my roommate, we stayed in for like, I'm not even kidding, like 1 week straight, just ordering in every day and binge watching Lost.
Oh, Daniel Day Kim.
Yeah.
Kwachichu. Yeah.
Kwachichu.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the good memories. We played a lot of video games.
Yeah, so many.
Yeah. And then,
Did people bring their own desktop computers back then in their dorm room?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Laptop era had not. We're the same generation.
Yeah, it's all desktop.
Yeah.
What else? There's always a 매점, we call it. Like the equivalent of a supermarket in the dorm area.
Oh, not 편의점, 매점.
Yeah, we call it 매점. Yeah.
What's the 매 mean?
Buy and sell. Yeah.
Okay.
Like 판매. Do you know what 판매 is?
But it's
Anyway.
like the corner store. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and there's like the large like dining area but they also sell like semi food, which is like ramen and stuff like that. 떡볶이, kimbap, and you would just hang out with friends there.
Yeah. What was the eating situation like? So in the US, you have to pay for the meal plan, at which point you get X certain amount of credits, and then you can go to the designated on-campus food eateries and use a credit to basically get a meal.
Yeah.
But you could choose not to do that, and maybe you could live, cook on your own, etc. And anyway, one funny story from when I went to college, all freshmen had to get on the meal plan. But you wouldn't actually end up using all the credits. So all the upperclassmen or other people would
You
try
have
to
to
like,
sell it, right?
or they would just like try to get freshmen to use their meal credits for them. There was not like a classic exchange.
Yeah.
But it was just like, maybe it was like, oh, if I drive you there, you give me a credit or something.
So that's the thing I think is kind of different between the US dorm culture and Korean dorm culture is that there's no meal plan. It's always on demand. Although it's like
you just
provided
pay for it.
very cheap. Yeah, it's like,
Oh,
yeah.
dude, that's awesome. I met someone on some college campus once for food, and I wanted to go to like a local dorm, or basically like a college food court, and so we ate there. Food was really good, so cheap,
Yeah.
super cheap. And then I was like, oh man, like I want to come back here. When can we meet up again? And he was like, anyone can come eat here.
Yeah.
What? You don't have to prove like student ID. That's crazy. It's subsidized for everyone. I don't know why these things aren't more popular. I mean, I feel a little creepy being like a 40-year-old going to a college eating food thing, but it's common, right? Like anyone can come eat there. That blew my mind. Yeah.
I think it depends on the campus.
Okay.
My school was large enough that it had many different cafeterias on campus.
Yeah.
Some were open to public, some were not.
Okay. Yeah.
I think the more cheaper ones were only for students.
Did you have to show student ID?
You have to buy the tickets, and I think when you buy the tickets, you have to show the ID.
Okay.
That's I think that's true. This was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But still, the cheapest meal that I can get on campus was 1,700won, about $1.
Yeah.
Per meal.
Come on. I think the meal I ate, if I remember, was like 사천원, so like $3.
Yeah. And then I think the most expensive one was like 3,000 something.
So good.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe this brings up another talking point, which is like security. And I mean, is that a big factor here, you think? Because in my mind, the reason why that situation wouldn't work in the US, it's security. It's like, oh, you're going to allow anyone coming onto this college campus with a bunch of like 18 to 22-year-olds. Feels a little bit like sketchy, right? So you should have to show your ID, your student ID to get in, or, something like that, right? Yeah.
That's America for you.
Like, does that not cross your mind as...
Not necessarily. It's more of an annoyance than safety issue.
Oh, like why are you letting those?
There's so many
old people.
Yeah, you have
campus?
to stand in line longer, especially for cafeterias.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't think like safety crosses my mind.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Side note, in one of my recent visits to the U.S., I always like visiting my old schools. So I tried to visit my old high school. School access now in the U.S. is no joke.
Oh yeah, I
can
can
was
imagine.
So hard.
I was surprised that you could even access.
Ultimately, I couldn't.
Oh, you couldn't.
Yeah. But I was like emailing my old teachers, like looking online, trying to find them. Like, hey, are you free? Like, honestly, again, this is like 15, 20 years ago. But I remember after graduating, going to college, graduating high school, going to college, coming back, you just like walk into the front office, like, oh, this is where their class is today. Like, walk yourself to the classroom. Now it's very different, of course. Yeah. Anyway.
I also wanted to mention, we were like all over the place.
We're all over the place.
But also wanted to mention off-campus apartments when you mentioned that. In my grad school, what I thought was very interesting was that the school bought a lot of property around the campus. I thought that's what you were mentioning when you said off-campus apartments.
But that's still school provided.
It's school provided, but you can only get a contract through the school-run real estate office.
Yeah. I see.
That's how I got so like all the units are different. They're literally just like houses around the campus.
But that does not exist in Korea.
I don't think so.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Well, TLDR, a lot of US colleges have so much money. They need to do something with it.
Yes.
Providing more housing options for their student body is a good thing, right? But
okay, another issue that I want to mention about why Korean people tend to have less roommates is the jeonse issue.
Oh, you're bringing it back in.
Yeah.
I had some funny college stories.
Okay. Let's do that. I thought we were done.
We're gonna go on forever.
Oh, it's just one more.
Maybe I'll just share.
Yeah. Get it off your system.
A handful. No, freshman year was really funny. This one is for the Korean audience in particular. So I remember it was like December, close to winter break. It's like the holiday season. A lot of us are getting ready to travel back home for winter vacation. And there's just like a huge commotion. It's like everyone, like the dorm empties out and goes up to the main floor. And everyone's watching. And like, what's going on? What's going on? One of the Korean yuaksengs, his dad was literally dragging his son by the ear out of the dorm room. And I didn't understand, but he was like cursing, I'm assuming, in Korean at him.
What happened?
And then everyone was like, who is that guy? Who is that guy? People were like, I don't know. And like finally one person was like, oh yeah, I'm his roommate. He never left his dorm room. He just was playing, I think it was Warcraft 3. For the whole semester.
Wait, was he a yuakseng?
He was a yuakseng.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so they were like, no one knows him except his one roommate. And that roommate was like, oh, that guy never left his room.
Oh my god.
Maybe to eat, of course, right?
Yeah.
He didn't go to class. I just thought it was hilarious. It still sticks with me.
Wait, how did his dad find out? And wouldn't his dad be living in Korea then?
I'm assuming his dad came
So he flew all the way to the
to
States.
drag his butt out of college.
God. It's crazy.
Anyway, that was just, it was such a funny thing.
Uh,
The other story I wanted to share, this was my junior year.
mm-hmm.
Wait, junior or sophomore? Oh my gosh. This was my junior year.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I referred to earlier, after winter break, I remember, I think maybe after Thanksgiving break, some of my good friends, they had gone back to New Jersey and brought back just like a whole massive freezer full of frozen Korean food. And like for basically the next month, all we did was in that guy's room, they had the little illegal portable heater. Just like cook like, 돼지볶음 or like bulgogi. It's like
So
볶음밥.
pungent.
I just eat. Oh, dude, it smells so bad. We had the little fridge where we would stock like drinks and like banchan.
Oh, God.
But it was so good. It's like, every time we came back from break
Yeah.
and all my friends had got food from their families to eat and share, it was the best time. Very fun memories.
If I think about fun memories at dorm, a lot of things are related to alcohol and like puking in the dorm room.
Oh, in Korea, you're legally allowed to drink, right? When you're in college.
Oh, that's different. Yeah.
Huge difference. Yeah, so I think in the US, you're not legally allowed to drink until you're 21, which for most people is their senior year, last year of college.
Yeah.
And so, of course, people do drink underage, but it's always a bit like, okay, maybe the cops will come, maybe on-campus police will come. You never feel like completely liberated and free to do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a huge difference. Yeah,
I think we should do a separate episode on college life.
maybe. Should
Yeah.
we just do college?
Then I wish it would be longer than this.
Oh, okay. What should we do, Jun?
Should we? Okay, let's do a separate episode on college life.
Okay. So you still want to try to squeeze out roommates in this?
Yeah, I want to like tie a
I
knot.
have so many funny stories.
Let's reserve it for a second episode.
Okay.
Another reason why I think that Korean people tend to live alone more than people in the US is the financial issue
Okay.
of financing the house, right?
Yeah.
And specifically the jeonse issue.
Yeah.
And I think when you're in college, it's in this like the price of the house, especially associated with jeonse, it's in like this very tricky position where where the down payment is too large that you can't really pay it yourself,
Yeah.
but also not as crazy as like let's say Manhattan or San Francisco that your parents can pay for it.
Ah. Okay. Interesting.
You see what I'm saying?
Kind of.
So it's like it's more expensive than you can afford yourself.
Yeah.
But it's not too crazy.
Your
so
parents
that
can maybe.
yeah, so your parents can pay for you.
I see.
And therefore, if your parents are paying it for you, and it's even more complicated to have a roommate then. So I think that's one of the reasons.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, again, you're saying a lot of people, still a lot of the rental market, let's say, in the US or temporary housing is jeonse based,
Yeah.
which requires a very large upfront payment. Again, roughly, for our listeners who don't know, let's say 50 to 70%, the price of the actual building itself,
Yeah.
which, maybe kids can't afford, college students can't afford,
Yeah.
but their parents might be able to, put that down for them.
Yeah.
At that age, Jun, can you qualify or get a jeonse loan yourself, or you still are, you don't have any credit history?
Oh, that's a very interesting question.
Yeah, that was a big thing in the US too. Honestly, myself, I didn't have a credit card until I was graduated. And I still remember like having to deal with building credit history, not being able to get any loans or any credit cards or anything.
Yeah.
Even though I had like a good paying job.
Yeah.
So I just wonder if that's similar in Korea.
I think there must be a way to do that, to get a loan while you're at college.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Maybe your parents have to just co-sign, right? Basically,
Maybe.
like
Yeah.
put their credit on the line for this
Yeah.
loan. Interesting. Okay.
That's I think one of the big factors that Korean people tend to live alone than have a roommate. Because if it involves jeonse, it's kind of complicated to split half and half.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
See that?
If it's just straight up
Yeah.
jeonse,
Yeah.
which is what it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
normal rent. You can just split
Yeah.
half and half. But if there's like a down payment and then
See, I just would have thought because jeonse was such a big part of the rental economy here, that there would have been systems figured out to,
Yeah.
you know, basically facilitate
Yeah.
two jeonse people equally.
Yeah.
Right? But you're saying that's not the case.
yeah, I see a lot of I saw a lot of couples specifically, not like roommates
Yeah.
that are living with their girlfriends or like significant others.
Yeah.
And they all have their own system. There's not like a standardized way of splitting half
I
and half.
see.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like it's like where some person pay the down payment, the other person pays the jeonse, or like whatever, like their weird system.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's not a standardized way to do that. And I think that plays into a factor.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Bolsas are more, I guess, just because the numbers involved here, right? You don't have to put this big fat deposit down up front, which kind of, I don't know, maybe minimizes the stakes. I guess with roommates, there's always potential for finance issues. Like, hey, we decided to split rent 50-50.
Yeah.
You're not paying your rent. You know, I have to pay it, otherwise we're going to get kicked out, right?
Yeah.
But obviously that can happen.
Yeah.
But it's just on a, you know, smaller scale, you know, 1 month rent at a time.
And also, I think the difference between Korea and the US is that the time in your life in which you start making money is very early on for the States. And it's more latter, especially for men.
Yeah.
So by the time they start making their own money, they're already pretty old. So it's like kind of too old to have a roommate now. And I want to talk about this, right?
Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
sentiment where like if you're pretty old, like if you're let's say in your 30s,
Yeah.
it's kind of pathetic to have a roommate.
Oh, shots fired.
Maybe that's too harsh.
Yeah.
Or like you would rather live alone than to have a roommate.
Interesting. I think that's true too, to be honest. Maybe I'd push it a little past 30. But of course, there is a similar sentiment in the US. If you're older, you still have a roommate. It's usually because you can't afford to, right? Live on your own. So yeah, I think that sentiment's similar.
And I think also another big factor is accessibility to roommates.
Yes,
Namely,
yeah.
it's hard to get a roommate. I mean, basically, you only could have a roommate with the same sex.
Oh,
Is the
interesting.
difference. Yeah. Because my culture shock when I went to grad school is that they would like rent out a house and 4 people live
mixed
together,
gender, yeah.
mixed gender. I was like, how does that even work?
I had a female roommate once, Jun.
Oh,
Not
you did?
one-on-one, but it was me, my friend, and then we had an extra room.
Yeah.
And then, you know, a girl moved in and lived with us for like a year and a half.
So basically, the pool in which you can find roommates is
cut
just
in half.
halved. Yeah.
And then bringing up social circles again.
Yeah.
You don't have like a huge, let's say, friend-to-friend network that you feel close with.
Yeah.
So how do you even find a good roommate? It must be harder.
Exactly.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's another big factor.
Is the idea of living with a stranger just crazy in Korea?
Pretty much.
That's just, again, it's not ideal. But I think there's tons of basically ways to try to find a roommate. Yeah, in the US. So
I mean, it could happen technically, but it's very rare, I think.
yeah.
It's too risky, isn't it? Like, what if he's a serial killer?
Jun, and for the Korean audience, this is why having that broad, maybe shallow pool of connections is so valuable, right? Like, even if it's a friend of a friend of a friend, you can triangulate like 4 different people's like signals, even if they're all loose connections. It's like, oh yeah, he's cool, he lived with my friend, or like, oh, I played basketball with him one time, or oh, he does work here, I can verify that.
Yeah.
It's just so valuable, right? Because your pool of people that you can trust at least to live with is very, very large, I'd say.
This also combined with the thing that we brought up in our previous episode about like that setting the boundaries and individualism plays a huge part. And I think it's once you have like very strict boundaries as individuals, it's easy to live together. Whereas like it's a much higher barrier for finding roommates in Korea because it's like the boundaries are kind of blurred. So you tend to be more picky with finding the right roommate. Who can like blur the boundaries a little bit.
But it's like your freshman dorm experience, right?
Yeah.
Like you had a kind of rando.
Yeah.
You were matched. You both were kind of private. Would you say it worked? And would you be willing to live in that situation again? Or if you had to, of course, right? Financially. wasn't the worst, right? Just like share space, live together.
I think it works at a younger age
Uh-huh.
when you're less defined as an individual. You're
Okay.
like more okay to adapting to other people and situations.
I see what you're
And
saying.
as you grow
Yeah.
up, you become more
Set in your
distinctively
ways. Yeah.
individual and you have like your own ways of doing things.
Yeah.
And it becomes more difficult to co-live.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you wanted to mention co-living space.
Yeah, Jun, I think this is, I feel like it's rising in Korea, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Because, yeah, I have some friends who are in this industry, I guess. And I'd say co-living spaces in Korea are defined by very, very small bedrooms. Your actual home is tiny,
Yeah.
right? It's just basically enough. It's like a college dorm, enough for a bed, maybe a desk.
Yeah.
That's about it. But they also have these shared living areas, right?
Yeah.
A communal room for studying, a communal room for, entertainment, let's
Yeah.
say, movie rooms, things like that. And it seems to be on the rise.
Yeah.
And I think it really caters to the people who want to live alone, but still want some social aspect of, basically want some socialization, right? We're all young, we're all single, but you can't afford to live in a big, nice apartment.
Yeah.
But let's at least live together and, socialize more. So I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but as far as I know, like having these big, like shared space areas,
Yeah.
like the exercise room, the game room, etc. In Korea, it seems to be on the rise. And I
Is
don't
it
know.
on the rise? I wanted to ask.
Yeah, I don't have any stats to back it up, but at least it feels like it's on the rise from what I can see.
Because when I first saw it, it just felt like, can I say this?
Yeah.
Communism. In a way, in a way that it looks like it will work in theory, but it seems like it'll never work in
Why?
reality. Because I think the pricing is kind of tricky.
Because it has to be cheaper than.
Yeah, because it's a lot more expensive than I thought. And if you are willing to pay that much of amount, you can live in a much better, larger
Interesting.
space for your own.
Yeah.
So it's almost as if you're sacrificing your room and paying more for the communal thing, which I don't know if there's a lot of demand for that.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. It's like, I don't know if they can find market fit kind of. So I was
Yeah.
kind of surprised that you said it's on the rise.
Again, I don't have the stats, but I do think at least it feels like this is a growing trend.
Yeah.
To me, it highlights like the willingness of the younger, let's say, generation of Koreans, maybe wanting to actually like co-mingle
Yeah.
and build that broader, shallower social network.
Yeah, I know, but for you to live there,
Yeah.
again, you have to be pretty young,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And if you're that young, can you afford to even live in those kind of fancy co-working spaces?
Yeah. But then why are these buildings investing in kind of more communal areas then? Rather than, I think a lot of the apartment complexes in Korea,
Yeah.
we haven't gotten into it yet, are just these, what are they called? The studio?
One
Do you
room?
call them one room? Yeah, one
Yeah.
room apartments, right?
Yeah.
Which is just the studio. There's no kitchen.
Yeah.
Just literally a small bedroom and
Yeah.
bathroom, right?
No, I think there definitely is demand for a communal space, but then they have to find the system where it's a lot more affordable than
Yeah,
this.
I see.
I think they over like fancy it almost. It looks super fancy, right?
They're
It's like-
nice. Yeah. The communal areas are really nice. The weight rooms, the exercise rooms, really nice.
Yeah, and they make it, and the price is kind of, it doesn't really make sense for me. Like, so in my mind, for you to live there and enjoy your life as like in that communal space,
Yeah.
you have to be in like, you can't go past like early 30s, I think.
I see. Yeah.
And if you're
maybe
in your
that's right.
early 30s, can you even afford to live there? Kind of. So that's kind of, yeah.
Interesting. It appeals to me, Jun.
It does.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
should get into this because I've always had roommates, even though I didn't need to. Yeah.
maybe we should start a business around like co-living spaces for the people in their 40s. With the declining marriage rate and everything.
What would the amenities be? Full body massage chairs. What's the, like
Whiskey bars,
Oh, that's true. Fancier drinks.
casino rooms.
Jun, you said earlier though, the first time that you would move out of your parents' house is for college.
Yeah.
Which again, if you lived outside of Seoul or had to move to a different city for college, that makes sense. But I wanted to bring this up. I think a lot of people, and I do believe this was true historically, would have thought that Koreans, especially women, but both genders, don't traditionally move out of their parents' home until they get married.
Traditionally, yes.
So I'm wondering like how much this is changing or fading over time, and if there is a stigma of kind of wanting to move out before that milestone. And I know we're both men, but is that more gendered as well?
Ah, I don't know. I think it goes back to the Seoul centric, like centralizing in Seoul kind of phenomena in Korea, because most families are now living in Seoul
Yeah,
statistically.
more than half.
So my guess is that people wanting to move out or people feeling the need to move out is decreasing.
Is decreasing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because they have the option to stay with their parents in Seoul.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I would have thought the opposite, right?
Why?
I don't know, just giving up of old values.
Mm.
Is it, I guess if you're single and older, but can afford to live outside of your parents' home, is it seen as like too traditional or old school thinking to choose to remain living with your parents? Or is it just like, is it still so commonplace that it's just like, oh yeah, that's cool, you're saving money?
I think it's more the latter.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because also in relation to the rising house prices and for you to, because it's like the cost of living has become drastically higher in the past 15, 20 years, right? So I think it's more logical to stay with your parents now. Yeah. Like my friend who broke up with his girlfriend,
Yeah.
they used to live together. Now
He moved back
he
in with
moved
his
back
parents.
to his parents' house.
I have to say, June, I know there is a stigma with it,
Yeah.
but it's pretty sweet. I mean,
Living
they,
with your parents?
they probably help you with your meals.
Oh, sweet in that way.
They may help with your laundry.
Yeah.
You have less chores maybe to do. And you save money, right? So as long as there's again boundaries
Yeah.
with, hopefully they don't give you a curfew.
Yeah.
They don't probe too much,
Yeah.
invade your private area in the house, right? It seems like a really sweet way to live for the kid. I
Yeah.
don't know about for the parents.
Yeah, I think it works in theory
Yeah.
also. Again, the premise is that if you keep your boundaries really straight, but it's
Yeah.
very difficult to do that in a parent-child relationship, I think.
It's interesting. I did live at home for, what was it, maybe 6 months after graduating before starting my first job. It felt, that was, I was like, oh, it's my first time living at home after, 3 years. Like, how's it going to be? It was awesome. I felt like
Was it?
immediately my parents like understood I was an adult living with them now. And it was just like a very clear boundary, it felt like. Yeah.
Yeah. I think your parents were wise in that area. But I can see a lot of parents not really doing that,
I
like
see.
being very nosy
Yeah.
in your business and like try to 간섭해. Yeah, 오지랖.
I'd be nosy.
Yeah, have a curfew, especially for for women.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
like stay up, wait. They won't sleep until you're home.
Yeah, I can see that happening. Yeah,
I mean, I was very quiet if I came home late, but I definitely, I never felt like I had to come home by a certain time, or I didn't feel too bad for coming home late.
and you have to share like who you
No,
who you
definitely
hung
not.
out with.
Yeah, yeah.
My parents would ask that. Yeah.
Interesting.
So one thing I also wanted to talk about is the stigma towards living with your parents, especially in the US. Because as far as I know, the US culture is that once you become an adult, like you move out of your parents' house.
Yeah.
And although like I'm understanding a lot of these through consuming like US media, like dramas and whatnot, but like
Like
it's-
Friends.
yeah, often portrayed as like pathetic if you're living with your parents after like you're an adult, like
Yeah.
past 20 or something. But since you brought up the stats indicating that there are more people than I imagine that are still living with their parents that are past what the age of, you say,
Yeah, this one
20
study
something?
said about 70%, so 1 in 6
yeah,
adults aged 25 to 34 live at home.
17, right?
Yeah, and I think it's rising, to be clear.
So that is completely different of how I think about the US culture. So can you talk more about like the sentiment towards living with your parents and how was there a shift was there a shift in like modern day living
Yeah.
in the US?
Yeah, I don't have the full history and
Yeah.
data to support this. I think, first of all, it's just, again, technically infeasible because most of the time after people graduate college, they go to the highest paying job, right? And that job could send them anywhere across the country. And maybe they'll choose to live close to home, right? But most likely, yeah, they're just going to have to live in a different city. So they literally can't live at home.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the biggest driver of this. Secondly, yeah, totally, there is a stigma that, oh, you're still living at home. Like, that means you can't afford to move out and live on your own. I think, yeah, just quite frankly, it was seen as like, oh, you have to live at home. I don't think anyone would ever have chosen to live at home versus living on your own, right? I think once you have that taste of independence from college, like you said, it's hard to go back.
Yeah.
Or in life when you feel like you're progressing. So it feels like it's hard to move back in with your parents. And it's often seen again as a necessity. Either I can't live alone because I can't afford to, or I don't have a job, and so I'm moving back home.
I see.
Yeah. And I don't know, I think what's changing is that now it's just really buying your own place is becoming more and more impossible for most people. And so they're forced to live at home. And I think because of that too, there's like I said, all the practical aspects of it, right? Like, oh, I can, food and laundry and like house chores. There are benefits to living at home, and I think people are becoming more aware of that. But it's mostly stemming from I think it's all coming from a point of like, oh, everyone is being forced to, so let's like see the positives of it.
I see.
But again, I think when it happens, it's like a very clear boundary now. One thing I'll bring up is that it may be controversial and it doesn't happen all the time, but I think common guidance is that, oh, parents should be charging their kids rent to live at home, right? And again, the goal is if the kids get so comfortable living at home, not paying rent, right, spending all their money and disposable income on themselves, it's not good. You're not teaching them to be responsible, to become more independent over time. I think I said this before, probably the primary goal of most Western parenting is to raise independent kids. Like they can live on their own, have a good job, take care of their own life by themselves as early as possible, right? Clearly when they're living at home, if you're doing all those things like laundry and cooking and not paying rent, charging them rent, you're not helping your kid to become more independent and financially independent specifically. So yeah, I don't know if that idea of charging your own kids rent would be shocking to Koreans. And to be clear, a lot of families don't do it. But what is very clear is that they're very strong boundaries.
Yeah.
And the children, adult children, let's say living at home, they are expected to give back, right? Maybe they do all the dishes or they cook half the meals or they buy their own groceries and keep it separate, right? Like the goal, I think, is to help facilitate that independence over time. This should never be a permanent thing, I think. Yeah.
This is a bit of a side note, but when you mention like the sole goal of parenting is to raise your child as an independent being is less of a thing in Korea, I think. One thing that I found ridiculous when I was in the dorms is that especially the guys, they did not learn anything about house chores.
Their moms would come and like clean their place.
Not to that extent, but I saw guys who do their laundry and then don't know how to fold it. So just like have the pile, like the scrap of clothes and just put it in the closet. And it was just like a dump of clothes, but they're all clean. But their clothes are all very wrinkly, and they didn't even know how to fold the thing.
You will call that kind of person like a man child. Yeah, like they're a man, but they still act like a child in lots of ways.
Another thing I wanted to mention in terms of like individualism in the States is that not only because the parents want their child to be an individual and independent being, but it's also a lot to do with them as an independent being, individual, meaning that I almost sometimes feel like American parents, they want to be now like living their lives more and be independent to their children. And it's not even like the willingness of the child. It's also the willingness of the parents now I'm retired, I'm going to live my life, to get out of my house kind of, which is like less of a thing in Korea. I think they just forever want to be a parent. Or like want maybe is a strong word, but they're okay with being like a parent.
They have more to their identity in life than just being a parent to their kids. I think, the classic scene, and it happened in my family too, right? It's like, the kids go off to college, right? Thanksgiving is, 2 months in. They come back.
Yeah.
Their room is gone.
Yeah.
Converted into an art studio,
Yeah.
reading room, office space. Like their room is gone. Does that happen in Korean families?
I think that could happen, but I think it's also common that they just keep the room as it is. Yeah.
Again, to be fair, that's common in the US too.
Yeah.
But it's also common to repurpose it immediately.
Yeah.
And again, back to that mind of like, once they leave for college, if they graduate, they're going to live on their own. They're going to figure it out by themselves, right?
Yeah.
We don't expect them to come back and live with us. Yeah. Jun, so in your adult life now after college, have you had roommates? Have you lived alone?
Yeah.
I guess we can just go through that.
I've had 5 or 6 roommates in total in my life. If I include my brother, that would be 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have a lot. Surprisingly, I didn't have a lot of experience living alone. I think I only started living alone 5 years ago. Yeah. Before that, it was almost always I had a roommate, except for like very brief periods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this right now is your first time living alone?
This in my previous apartment.
Yes. Yeah. This stage of your life.
Yes.
Could you ever go back?
To living with someone else?
Yeah.
Not family. Yeah.
Not your brother?
Not my brother. Maybe my brother. Yeah. I can see it working out with my brother. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're referring to your parents?
With my parents, no.
Oh, I see.
I couldn't even stand the 4 days in Japan.
Oh.
I think 3 days is good.
Yeah.
And then starting from the 4th. Yeah.
Oh,
How about
anyway.
you?
I mean, Jun, I feel like I'm at the life stage. We're probably in similar life stages, but my parents might be a bit older. Where I'm actually thinking of, as my parents get older, should they live with one of their kids, right? Namely me. Should not move in with my parents, but have my parents move in with me. So yeah, I think my parents also, like you said, they value their independence. I don't think they want it either. But if push comes to shove and something happens such that it has to be the case, yeah, I think that would be more likely now. And I'd be okay with it. I think having grandparents around for my kids too, it's like almost purely all pros. It's really good. There's lots of nice advantages to it too. So,
but how does that work in the US? Because you have your wife's family too, right?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I think in general it's just split pretty evenly. So, thankfully both my sets of parents are, healthy enough and financially independent enough that it hasn't come up. But yeah, it would just be a conversation. I don't think there's an expectation per se one way or the other. I think whichever makes more sense or is more of a necessity, you just decide together, who, if and who you should like live with you guys and live with the kids. Yeah.
I think that maintaining of their independence, especially for the parents, is very important. Because if they don't, it's going to be very difficult to live together. And especially, if they're if the parents are at the stage where they need some help, can't live by their own, like they have to learn how to live together with someone else, right? And this is such a huge drama of like the child's generation reliving back with their parents. Causes such a drama, especially when they're married.
Yeah.
And the wife has to live with
caters to their
parents-in-law.
Yeah.
And the only way that it could work is that if they maintain a very strict boundary. Yeah.
One of my wife's uncles, I think he's the only son in that family, but the grandmother lives with him. But I just feel like he's basically now her chauffeur. I feel so bad for him. He's now retired, so maybe he has the time. But every beck and call, he has to do whatever his mother wants, right? And for example, like I know he will drive like an hour and a half just to drop off or pick her up and bring her back. And just like, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's going from being a chauffeur to your kids to being a chauffeur for your mom.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I think if I were ever in a similar situation, I'd probably need to have a conversation with my parents around, hey, this is too much, right? it's taking up too much time. Let's figure out a way that you can get to this place on your own, whether it's calling an Uber, figuring out a bus thing, like whatever, right? And I could do it here and there. Of course, like airport pickup, drop off, that's whatever.
Yeah.
But like every week, having to like drop them off somewhere, pick them up, to me it seems too much.
Yeah.
Right. So it would not be a sustainable situation.
Yeah.
And we'd have to have like very clear, very difficult, but good conversations about setting these clear boundaries.
To be clear, your wife's uncle is someone who lived.
He's
Korea.
never left Korea. Yeah.
So I think that kind of maintaining that healthy boundary is very important. Again, like me as an individual, you as an individual. And I think another factor that plays a big part here in Korea is that concept of hyo. Do you know what hyo is?
No.
I don't even know if that concept exists.
We have another
outside of
episode we
Korea.
can do.
Oh yeah, we can talk about hyo.
Hyo.
It's such an integral part of Korean culture.
What is hyo?
Like,
I've never heard of it.
it's like, if there's like parental giving, how would you describe the other way around? Like, if the child gives
duty.
back to child giving back to their parents,
Specifically money or anything?
anything.
Oh,
That concept is called hyo.
like giving back to your parents,
Yeah,
I'd say.
that is such an integral part.
Yeah.
And I think that's like very ingrained in everyone's like almost DNA in Korea that you have to do that, and you feel guilt if you don't. Kind of. And I think that plays a huge part.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah. Too much sacrifice both ways, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. I don't know why my parents... So my dad, for his whole life,
Yeah.
he always said two things. One, I'll pay for your college. Two, I don't want to be a burden in my old age. I don't know where that came from,
Yeah.
but it's almost the anti-heel,
Yeah.
right? Like he literally, from the time I was little, would say like, one of my goals is I don't want to be a burden in my old age. So I don't know if Hyo's been a concept that long, if he had a bad experience himself, but that's one thing he's always said. And, as I get older, I think I can really appreciate it.
Do you feel like he's changed as he gets older, though?
No, not yet. Yeah.
Because I feel like my dad was
Stay the same
pretty
thing.
much the same.
Uh-huh.
But then I feel like nowadays, as he gets older,
Yeah.
I feel like he's becoming want to be more dependent
I see.
on the children. Yeah.
It hasn't happened yet. If anything, I wish he could be less independent. But my dad is fiercely independent. Yeah.
I see.
Is there a concept of retirement homes or retirement centers in Korea? Because again, talking about independence as you get older, that's like the standard. They are very expensive, of course, but if you can afford to,
Yeah.
it's like, we're gonna go to a retirement center or a retirement community with a bunch of other retirees.
Yeah. I think in Korea they're called silver towns.
Yeah.
Is that Konglish or is this something?
Konglish, yeah.
Okay, they're called silver towns.
Yeah.
And I think the more expensive luxury ones are good, but then like there are also ones that are pretty sketchy. And I think
see.
they're like in society considered as like less optimal than actually living in your house and your children coming to live with you and then
Helping
taking
take care of
you.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see. So they do exist. You're saying the stigma is we're moving into this center because our kids don't want us to live with them or we can't live with them?
I think so.
I see.
Yeah. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's my feeling.
Yeah. No, I think it's by choice. Like, I can't wait to be retired.
Yeah.
Living in a retirement community.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, really.
The luxury ones?
It doesn't matter. I
Doesn't
mean,
matter.
for me, just the idea of like going back to like we're all on the same life stage. I don't know. There's like the cafeteria. We all eat together, play board games together, play bridge together. I don't know. It just sounds really fun and appealing to me.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going back to your dorm life.
Going back to dorm life.
Yeah.
I guess I never talked about my living experiences. So again, I graduated college 1 year early. So when I graduated, I guess
you only had 3 years of college.
only 3 years of college. None of my friends were graduated yet. So I was living alone.
You were the smart kid.
No. Yeah, I was trying to, I don't know. It's a long story. Maybe we'll talk about it in the college episode. But I was living alone, and that was definitely probably the loneliest time in my life, thinking back.
I see.
We'd just come home, order in pizza. I was saving a ton of money. But it was definitely I would say a low point. It didn't feel low, maybe, but in hindsight, it was a really lonely time. Yeah. But, I was playing a lot of basketball. So I was trying to find community, but it was hard because I didn't follow the pattern, right? Like I was supposed to be in my senior year. I was supposed to be still in college,
Nice.
right? And so the community I did find, in hindsight, is kind of weird, but they were all like 28 to 30-year-olds. So I was like a 21-year-old hanging out with older 20-year-olds, almost 30-year-olds. Yeah, in hindsight, it felt really weird. But then, my friends started to graduate. One of my best friends moved to the area I was living in, so we started living together.
Yeah.
We lived together, I want to say at least 4 or 5 years maybe, across 2 different places. Yeah, that was probably one of the best times of my life. One of those situations, like I said, we had a female roommate. So it was 2, me, my friend, and then our mutual friend. And yeah, that was in like a really small house. Really small. It's almost like a prefabricated house, just like cut.
Like a container?
It felt like it too. We didn't realize it until we had been living there. We're like, this feels like it's just like it came in 2 pieces and
like a trailer house.
They glued it together. Yeah. But all these situations were nice because they were walkable to our work. And so being able to walk to work was awesome. After that, I moved in with 2 other friends. We lived in the city in San Francisco. That was also a great time. I just think about, I guess I've always been able to afford to live alone, but I've always chosen to live with roommates. And
I think you're definitely a dog person.
Oh yeah, what's that mean?
Like many different things. Like you being a dog person indicates more than you like dogs, right? Like your personality. I think the difference between dogs and cats as a species is that dogs are herd based. They have a herd based culture, and cats are like they're independent.
Yeah.
Right. So I think you're more of the person who like really, values the sense of community.
That's for sure.
And like having people around you. Yeah.
I mean, some of my favorite memories, right? And all this was before, I'm now at the point where I met my wife and we started dating.
Yeah.
But all of my best memories are with, I guess, my roommates, or there's whether we're just like grilling samgyeopsal and like watching football together, talking about life, or one time we had a house party. I think it was right New Year's Eve before 2010, and like from 9 to 10 we were playing music from the 80s, from 10 to 11 we were playing music from the 90s. From like 11 to midnight before the ball drops or whatever, we're playing music from the 2000s.
Oh, wow, so coordinated.
Actually, I think my wife may have set up the playlist for that.
Yeah.
Like was responsible for the music. But we just had like, probably 50 plus people at our apartment. It's just like a really fun time, right? And so many memories. And yeah, I think for me, it's like when I think back on life, I can't imagine, it would have been so different if I was living alone, right? I would have been the one, I wouldn't be hosting. I'd be going to someone's place, leaving alone. I don't know. Just like it, part of the value of having this shared space, having roommates, is just like doing life together, right? And it makes life so much more meaningful to me. So I don't know. I get really sad if I think about if I had lived in Korea, if I was living in a small 1-bed, right? And my socialization was, I don't know what my socialization would look like, because such a huge part of my 20s was just like having people over, spending time together, eating together, cooking together, watching shows together, watching sports together, hosting parties, things like that. So yeah, I just don't know what does that socialization in your 20s look like in Korea without roommates. For me, it's like, I just don't know. Yeah.
Do you feel a sense of deficit now that you're married and have a family and have less of that? No, I'm like genuinely
yeah, Jun. No, I'm laughing because so I was living with 2 guys, 3 of us, and when we got engaged and we were getting married, right? I was only half kidding when I suggested to my wife, like, "Hey, do you want to just move in here?"
Yeah.
She looked at me like, "You can't be serious. Zero chance." Right? But I was like, I like having roommates, and I think my vision for the ideal living situation, it's like in our apartment, if all our friends could move in.
Yes.
Right? That's my ideal communal. It's like a commune.
Me
right?
too.
You each have your own home, but you're living with friends nearby, really close.
Yeah.
And for me, walking distance matters a lot. Like you joked around before, June, but you live almost too far. Like it's like a 15-minute walk.
Yeah.
I think 5 minutes or less to me, like everyone living really close to each other. That's my dream vision for like the ideal living situation. Yeah.
I'm the same as you. Although I imagine more of myself as a cat person, because when you describe like your final years of college, I thought that would have been the best time of my life almost. But I do also value the sense of community, and it's pretty much the same as I imagine the most optimal living condition is that all my friends are living in a close proximity, and we have like some kind of like common, that like central perk kind of thing. It's like a fantasy where like there's a place where you can just all hang out, kind of.
That's other people's homes in the US.
Yeah. I once saw a Korean documentary
Yeah.
going around like documenting alternative living styles
In Korea.
and I saw families where they build up their own building as like first floor, second floor, third floor. They're all living together.
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
the ground floor, there's like a communal
Yeah,
space.
cool. Yeah, yeah.
That sounded really awesome.
Yeah. One
Yeah.
of my friends was doing that.
Yeah.
So they had a 3-story house, and I guess each floor was occupied by a family.
Yeah.
So it was like 3 families living in one home. They each had their own personal space.
Yeah.
But they were so close to each other, right?
Yeah.
They basically could go house to house very easily. And yeah, now they've separated a bit, but they all live within
Yeah.
5-minute walk of each other. So.
But in reality, it's so hard to make that happen because of like everyone's, like, especially their jobs are located in different places, right? So it's very difficult to agree upon to live in like a same apartment complex
Yeah.
unless it's like very convenient for everyone to commute to their works, right?
I think the only way this happens, and the way it happened for the groups of friends I know, it's just very intentional, right? It usually starts with 1, maybe 2 families, and it's like, oh, we could live in these 3 areas, and this one might be slightly more inconvenient for schools, for work commute, whatever. But we want to prioritize living close to our friends so much that next person lives, and then it's like, once a house opens up on the block, it's like, hey, there's a house available. They all blast it to their friends.
Yeah.
Like, hey, anyone interested in moving near us, like, here are the 2 families who live here. And then the 3rd family comes. And I think that's usually, again, it's never ideal from all perspectives, but you're willing to make those sacrifices, whether it's a longer commute, whether it's a slightly less good school, whether it's like slightly higher crime area, whatever. But it's like, no, we're living with our families are so close to other families we know and like that they're willing to do it, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Goes back to the Reply 1988 situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think being able to have people come over and host in your house is like the biggest differentiator in this. Because I'm even thinking like even that communal apartment style, like everyone in the apartment is someone I know. The reason why that makes it nice is that you don't have to worry about maybe your neighbors making noise as much. It's like, oh, it's our friend, so they'll understand. Or it's like, we can just go to each other's houses so much, right? I think that's really the appeal for me. Again, I like having roommates, maybe real actual roommates when I'm single. But if I'm married with a family, I want my house to be a place where people can come and hang out and socialize, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's why we like to throw so many parties, have so many, dinner gatherings, just to have people over. And, we go to other people's houses all the time too. But not having like a home where you can host makes a huge difference, right? Because I find myself in Korea, and this is not necessarily roommate related, but we go to dinner, okay, we find a place that can accommodate 10, 15 people. That's hard. Then maybe we find our way to a dessert place for Icha, and then we go home.
Yeah.
Right? It's like in the US, it'd be like, even if we chose to go out rather than eat in, it's like, oh, you want to come over?
Yeah.
Right? Let's like spend 2-3 hours more. Let our kids play. It's just so nice. So I think that's definitely something I miss. Yeah.
I wish you can do that, and I want to learn from that. I just wonder how it could work in reality, though.
In Korea.
In Korea or in or anywhere.
This is how it plays out. This is the reality in America, too.
There are a lot of families doing that.
Oh, you know what? No, I think it is hard.
Yeah.
Right. But I think you almost kind of become family with your neighbors. Like, I hesitate a bit saying that because it just sounds so idealistic.
Yeah.
But I think it's true.
Oh.
Yeah, you make your neighbors your kind of your family.
But you have to be very lucky to find that kind of neighbors that can click with you.
Maybe, or thinking back on my living situations, maybe I've always been lucky, or maybe it's just the norm, June.
I see.
I think it's less about luck and everyone's like collective willingness to, you know, facilitate that neighborly vibe or community with your neighbors, right? But, you know, it's all, you know, it's so person by person. My very first, I told you that first living arrangement when I first graduated and was living alone, I was 21. I hosted a barbecue for my floor.
Oh.
Like I found a nearby park. I literally bought like a portable grill, bought a bunch of food, went door by door and invited them. And out of the maybe 10 people on my floor, only 4 showed up for the rooms. But one of those families, you know, she was a single mother. I'd put her at late 40s at that time, right? And she had 2 daughters who were, I'd say, like maybe, I don't know, 10 and 12, something like that. I still keep in touch with them.
Oh.
And if I hadn't done that, I would have never built that connection.
I see.
And yeah, I remember the 2 girls at the time. I was more like a brother than a you know, uncle or whatever, because I was 21. They were like, you know, 8 and 10, let's say. But I still remember them saying like, "Thank you for doing this. Like, it's so boring at our apartment." And even that small gathering of whatever 10 people or so, I still think back very fondly. You know, I invited a couple of my friends to come too, just so it wasn't totally awkward and dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think like when you had shared your story of your dad hosting a block party,
Yeah.
I was like, I did the same thing. Anyway.
By the way, yesterday I had yashik with my coworkers living in the same building.
What's yashi?
Like late night meal after dinner.
How did you become friends with them?
We're coworkers.
Oh, so you're coworkers who live in this building.
Yeah.
And now you're taking it beyond the coworker relationship to yashik relationship.
Yeah.
On
to
the
be
weekend,
clear, I didn't initiate it, but
they did.
yeah.
Are they gyopo?
No.
I'm just kidding. June, I think they're craving community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to wrap.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so I just like having roommates, June. I guess now I have my forever roommate, my wife, and my kids. They might not be forever, but I do tell them like. Anyways, it's very sweet. My kids are still young enough that we talk about college and things like that. But then our kids are still like, oh, when I'm older, I just want to live with you. Can I still live with you? I'm like, of course. But maybe I'll feel different when I'm older and they're adults.
So sweet.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else for roommates?
No, but I do want to do a second part about like college life.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't have a lot of topics in our backlog anyways.
Just to be clear, though, it is still pretty common to live with your parents until you get married, right?
Yeah.
And this is more common for women, but still common for men.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And most people, I don't know if this was we didn't talk about this, but the most common living arrangement for people who are adults, unmarried, is in kind of one rooms, like very small.
Yes.
Or is that an exaggeration?
I mean, one rooms could be pretty large. I mean, they're like very tiny one rooms to like pretty spacey one rooms.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
But that is true.
And so they live, and these one rooms don't have kitchens, so they just kind of.
Oh, they do.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
So one rooms have kitchens.
Kitchens, bathrooms, everything.
So it's a one bed, like the equivalent of a one bed in the U.S.
Equivalent of a studio apartment, no?
Oh, so it's.
I always thought when you say
there's
one
no wall,
bed,
there's no
wall. It's just one space.
One space, but there is a small kitchen, a bathroom, and a space for your bed.
Yes.
Okay. And then, yeah, I think this has to drive. I don't know if it's supply versus demand or whatever, but because most of the homes are these just one bed studio apartments, it doesn't really facilitate roommates, right? I wonder if there were more, let's say, 2-bedroom apartments at a price point where people could live together.
Yeah.
If that would be more common.
Yes.
But again, I don't know what drives what. Because there's a lack of supply of like arrangements or layouts that facilitate having adult roommates. That just doesn't happen very much.
Yeah. Now that you say it, I think it's very rare to find a house layout in Korea where it's specifically designed for 2 roommates to live together. Yeah.
Do you think that's because there is no demand for it? Because it's like,
yeah, I think demand drives a huge factor. Yeah.
Interesting. All right, that's it for this episode on roommates. As always, if you like to support our podcast, the best thing you can do is share us with a friend that might like our content. Beyond that, if you want to support us financially, you can become a Patreon. With this, you get access to our Discord where you can connect with other listeners, discuss the latest episode, and suggest future episode topics. Since last recording, we've had 2 new Patreons. First, Barbara. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you, Barbara.
And second, Kevin.
I think it's Kexin.
Next, Kexin. Thank you, Kexin.
Thank you, Kexin.
Kexin, I bet you get that a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Oh, we had a super thanks too on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Okay. We also have a new super thanks on our YouTube content from Rom. I think I can say Rom. Yeah.
Thank you, Rome.
Yeah, and this person also mentioned that they got recommended our channel through ChatGPT.
What?
Yeah, we're in the AI world.
Wait, how?
Huh? I don't know.
What?
Yeah.
ChatGPT knows us?
ChatGPT knows us.
Whoa, scary, but cool.
Thank you. I also wanted to briefly mention very heartwarming, long email that this person sent. This person's, I think, using their full real name. So
I haven't read this yet.
Oh, you haven't read this yet? Okay.
Oh, they wrote it in both languages.
Yeah, they wrote it in both languages.
Well, we have to have them on as a guest.
Yeah.
If they're comfortable speaking. But yeah, what?
If I'm okay, I think I can say Irene. Thank you, Irene, if you know who I'm talking about. Thank you for this very heartwarming, long email. Sometimes it's very difficult to write back to these emails because I know that it's so well thought out. So I feel like I need to reciprocate in the same manner. And then I tend to just, slack off. But I did want to mention that your email is very well received. And it was very touching. So thank you very much. Yeah.
All right. I'll give it a read, and I'm sure I will share the same sentiments.
Yeah. All right. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
See you next week.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
But Jun, do you remember how we first started talking about roommates? Was it in the context of Chong?
I think so. That in that cafe when I first
is that when we started talking about roommates?
Yeah. So we were like, oh, we should also talk about roommates.
Yes, because I think if you recall our previous episode.
Wait, we're gonna talk about roommates.
Yeah. Wait, why?
No, we never talked. We never told the audience that we're gonna talk about roommates.
I'm setting it up now.